Friday. You are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium with today. The 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. And why are the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. They just play suck. No explanation needed. The Washington Commanders just suck. And welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. For anybody who's going to spend any time watching a replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Going to try to go about 30 minutes in tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away, throw in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box. Give me 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. But boss, also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free and fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third one, membership level I got, is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them, so if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you're subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live, if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, right? But if you're subscribed to my channel, thank you. And if you can also maybe give this video a thumbs up and maybe even share, it would mean the world to me, and I thank you in advance. And then finally, also, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a minute, and the one underneath it, it's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter. I'm an old-time fart. Time out. Got to move the chair for my buddy Randy here. All right, buddy. Coming in. All right. Hey, Randy's here. We can get as I said, it's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter. It's been Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. 3 trillion years from now, it'll be Twitter because I'm an old-time fart and I hate change. Get off my lawn. I'm one of them old-time farts. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, bro. I ain't calling it that. It's Twitter. I usually put some Giants-related information in there every day. So if you follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back. That's a promise. And then the link just above it, it's a Facebook link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. We have over 7,900 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in the group, but members post off in the group as well, too, right? So between me and the members, there's a boatload. There's a ton. There's an awful lot of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. With all that stuff said and done and out of the way with, well, we're gearing up for the combine, right? It's, that time, the underwear Olympics or whatever you want to call it, the combine. Let's see where we at here. There's the article right here. I got 7,000 tabs opened up. I got so many things here. Now, there's an article here I saw. It's from Giants Country, right? It's called the NFL Combine Interest for the New York Giants. Now, they got, they don't really go into ton of specifics here at all or anything, but the Giants, let's be for real. The Giants have, we got some holes, that's the one problem is that, looking at last season, the one thing about last season, just being just straight up kicked right in the cojones, just really, especially with the one nice thing, if you ever want to call it that. It's not nice while you're going through it. Don't get me wrong, right? But the one nice thing that you can, look at is that like what happened last season, with a lot of injuries, certainly, some positional groups where some of your strengths and weaknesses are, and the offensive line was certainly not one of them. Not only was it like maybe a little bit of a weakness as far as the starters, but then you go to anybody trying to back up, it was just a total mess, right? But I mean, the one thing is that, and we also saw last year, the Giants still have some deficiencies in certain areas. Obviously, every team does, right? But they got deficiencies in certain areas. But not only that, but they need, they got to get some depth, right? But then also, you have as I said, I think there's like 21 or 22. I don't know if it's like restricted and unrestricted free agents. I mean, it's like almost half the team. If you look at the start, not start 53, but you take like the 53-man roster, it's like almost half. The Giants have, about half, 22, 23 are like restricted or unrestricted free agents. I mean, it's like the one good part about that, okay, is that, if Shane, and Dable hopefully are going to be sticking around for a little while. Let's hope. That gives them plenty of opportunity to bring in their own guys. So that at least they can, they're going to sink or swim with their own guys. But the one thing is, it's we're starting to get to that point, where things might be a little, get a little hot for especially for Coach Dable. Right. I mean, we need to see some improvement this season without question. We're going to bring in, obviously a bunch of new guys that they think that maybe they can rock and roll with. The one thing I don't like, particularly the way a lot of things, and it happens every season. Yeah. It is what it is. And it's always going to be like this. You bring guys in, for a year, and then you just let them go. Then you bring more guys in, and then you just let them go. Yeah, it's just, I don't know if we're not doing a good job at developing guys or what. I mean, because there's been a couple instances, where we let guys go and they don't seem to do too bad at other teams. It's like, we bring these guys in for a year, and it's all right. We'll get somebody. We'll bring in a running back, right? Bring them in for a year or whatever, and let them go, and bring another. It's like, I wish we maybe did a little bit better job of developing guys, I guess. And also a lot of it too is, the way things are now is the contracts are getting so small. I mean, like 1 year deal. How many guys we keep signing back to like 1 year deals? I mean, like Jihad Ward. Just a bunch of guys, just really, really short contracts. And it's like, there's ever a point in time, it's like, oh, man, we got, we got some money here, But it's like, yeah, okay, but we might have a little bit of salary cap money, but it's like, we got half the team is is going. So the Giants, I mean, we got some holes. All right. So they say here, all right, obviously, we start at the quarterback position here. It says the obvious position to expect the Giants to look at will be quarterback at the combine. Now, the one thing also is like with the combine, usually for the most part, usually everybody tries to do almost everything. Now, whether that's at the combine, or it's the combine and their pro day, or just because some guys may not go to the combine, because some guys don't need to go to the combine. They're not trying to prove themselves or not like that. They just have maybe their pro day. But when you got some guys going to the combine, it's like, it's also like, guys like, not participating in their bowl game. They're getting ready for the draft or something like that. And I guess you can understand that, everything now is all about injuries. I don't want to participate in my team's bowl because I might get injured and that might kill my draft stock. You know, I mean, and unfortunately, it's probably only going to get worse. Probably only going to get worse. Because obviously, the more money we're talking about, you know, I mean, hey, I don't know. But what do you think? What are you thinking? 10 years? Somewhere around there, maybe. Quarterback's going to be getting $100 million a year. 10 years, maybe 15 at the most. Yeah. Quarterback's going to get $100 million a year. Right? I mean, so it's like, it's a shame because it's going to start getting to the point where, you know, guys are going to play like maybe a couple games into their senior season and I'm good. I'm all right. You know, I showed, you know, I still got it. You know, I played 2 games of the, you know, if they're a quarterback, I completed 72% in those 2 games, 9 touchdown passes, no interceptions. I threw for 762 yards in 2 games. I'm good. We won them both. We won 45-3 and 51-0. We're good. I'm good. I'm out of here. I'm going to start. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I need to get that contract. I need to get the number 1. But you know what I mean? So it's, and unfortunately, as time goes by, it's just probably going to get worse and worse. It's a shame, you know. But I say, but a lot of guys like at the combine and all that, or whatever, you know, they don't want to run the 40. They don't want to do the bench press. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that because it might hurt their stock. Yeah. Let's see here. The opposite position is expected Giants to look at, well, be a quarterback. Daniel Jones has been underwhelming with the Giants reportedly looking to bring in a veteran quarterback this offseason. That doesn't rule out the possibility of then adding a rookie to the room. Whether that's one of the top quarterbacks in the draft falling to 6 or using a day 3 pick on one. Day 3 pick, wow. Yeah, they don't think the Giants might take a quarterback. It's interesting, as I said in this article. Taking a day 3 pick. Yeah, it's picking one in the 4th, 5th, or 6th. I don't have the 7th round pick. 4th, 5th, or 6th round. Yeah. I don't think they could pick one in the 2nd round. All right. The combine will allow the Giants to get an up close look at the top quarterbacks following the ball, albeit without pads. More importantly, it will allow them to speak privately, which is huge. There's so much, especially if you're talking the first round picks. I mean, even the seconds and all that, it's all huge. But talking with these guys is huge. But also they talk with, everybody that's ever known. They're speaking with teammates and coaches, and I don't know if they go to people's neighbors and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But being able to talk to these guys, that's very important. Bringing them in for a chat, seeing where their head's at. Anything. So talking to them is big. That's pretty important. Let's see here. The interview portion of the combine for quarterbacks holds more weight than any other position. Oh, yeah. Coaching staffs and front office personnel get to sit down one-on-one with prospects and break down playbooks, film, the whiteboard, and so much more that allows them to find a good fit and a good leader at the position. Oh, yeah. You need somebody you feel it's going to, obviously. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That's a good point. Quarterback, you want him to be a leader. Washington's Michael Penix will need the medicals to help raise. I tell you what, you feel bad. You never ever want to see anybody get injured. But I mean, Michael Penix, I mean, his injuries history has been, staggering. I mean, I don't know if the way things have been going with their quarterbacks getting injured, their porous offensive line play. I'm not sure if Penix is somebody they want to bring it in here, but even if Penix passes, the physical and and all, I still think you're taking a little bit of a gamble. You would much rather have somebody that's gone through college, whatever the 3 years or however many years, unscathed as compared to what Penix had. I mean, that's not something, especially at the quarterback position, especially if you're taking them in the first round, or so, especially somebody you're going to be dishing out a lot of money to. Then we have, of course, Michigan's J.J. McCarthy. He's slowly moving up the draft boards. He will need to prove his value on the whiteboard. Tennessee Joe Milton should test well and pass the eye test in the throwing portion, but the whiteboard part will matter for him to prove he could work in an NFL offense. Then, of course, we have the wide receivers. Now, going back to quarterbacks, now the Giants, obviously, they have Tommy DeVito. I keep calling him Danny, Tommy DeVito. Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan. And he's the only healthy guy they got. So, like mini camps or whatever, like in May, Daniel Jones ain't going to be ready then. So they're going to have to bring in at least 2 quarterbacks. Now, whether that's, the free agency, they get experienced veteran, bring somebody in. Maybe they bring an experienced veteran. They got Tommy DeVito, and then they draft somebody. Who knows? But they have to get at least 2 quarterbacks. So wide receivers, there are 39 wide receivers invited to the combine this year, and the Giants have to look at almost all of them. There are some receivers that the Giants can cross off their list early, whether due to age, size, or athletic testing. Still, the receiver class has multiple options for almost every mold you can think of. Athletic testing will be a big factor for some, like Johnny Wilson, who's 6'7", but isn't expected to test great. Michigan's Roman Wilson has a size that likely limits him, but should be one of the best overall testers. Whereas Xavier Worthy out of Texas probably put on some weight, as he was listed in the low 170s. Ooh. If he put on weight, it could be crucial to see if he's lost any speed, which sometimes happens, which is something, Jalen Hyatt was talking about possibly putting on some weight. He wanted to maybe, get a little bigger, a little bulkier or whatever, maybe help him, take with the pounding, right? But the problem is, is that something that's going to slow you down a little bit, right? His biggest asset would be his speed, right? But regardless of that, the Giants, and especially here, this same thing with the quarterbacks. Oh, what's going on? Nobody important. 100%. They really got to figure it out. You got that right, brother. You got that right. But it's like with the quarterback play and the wide receiver. Okay. There's options. It's not so much, well, we got to take a quarterback in the first round. It's not so much a wide receiver. We got to take a wide receiver. If we don't take a wide receiver at number 6, there's no other wide receivers out. No, it's a good wide receiver class. So you can get somebody good in the second round, maybe third round or so. It may not be the dog you're looking for, but there's good wide receivers out there. You'll get somebody, you'll get a good wide out. And it's not going to be like that for a long time, probably maybe forever, the way the college game is evolving. Same thing with the quarterback. If one doesn't fall to us, or if the Giants, whatever, aren't looking for one at pick 6, there'll be options in the second round. And if the Giants fall in love with somebody, you take those 2 second-round picks and you can move up. If you want to jump back into the first round, I'm just throwing names out there. I have no idea. As I said, maybe McCarthy, right, or Penix, or Nix, or one of those guys. If the Giants think they want to maybe take a shot at one of those guys, take the 2 second rounds, and maybe they can jump back into the first round. That way, you get the guys, get them for 5 years, right? That's huge, right? So the quarterback and the wide receiver is going to be. There's a lot of huge stuff they got. Let's not be kidding ourselves here. But if they don't take one in the first round, their option's still there in the second round, and they got 2 second round picks still. So if they don't even want to jump up, they still got 2 second picks, right? But once again, they got a lot of they got a lot of holes. Oh my God! And speaking of holes, hey, offensive line. Speaking of holes, yeah. In my opinion, combined testing is more applicable for offensive linemen than any other position. Testing numbers should have always be taken with a grain of salt, but an offensive line, they can help. Oh, yeah, you like to see how the guy moves, how he tests. Obviously, you can't test the guy's heart. That you can't ever test, right? But it does help to see how the offensive line, obviously they like the measurements. The guy, they want the tackle's arms to be so long. You want to see, maybe how strong the guys are, but also how they move. It's a lot of that's very important. It says the 40-yard dash is rather useless. Yeah. I mean, look what happened when Andrew Thomas tried to run the 40-yard dash after the field goal got blocked against the Cowboys. He started to take off, do a 40-yard dash, pulls his hamstring. Now he's hurt for, you don't even know. I mean, it was the hamstring an issue the whole season long? You don't know, but it certainly hindered him quite a bit in the beginning, that's for sure. Let's see. The 10-yard split is a great measurement for explosiveness. Yes. The start of the 40-yard dash is players crouch down, similar to the pre-snap stance for an offensive lineman. So how they start is a good indicator of exploding off the ball. The broad jump is another measurement of explosiveness. That's true. The combine can help low-ranked offensive linemen boost their stock. Yep, similar to what Blake Freeland of BYU did last season when he went from a late day 3 to a 4th-round pick. But it's also the same thing here, too. This is apparently it's going to be a very good tackle class. There's supposed to be some good guards in there as well, too. But, with the guards, okay, that's when maybe the 2nd-round pick might come in. I mean, the Giants have options. We have free agents, right? There's going to be some decent free agents out there that the Giants can possibly go after and maybe try to fill one of their guard spots, because I'm sure they're going to let Glowinski go. But, taking a guard maybe in the 2nd round, that could be huge. Take a tackle in the 2nd round. If they don't take Alt or, one of the other tackles with pick 6, right? Because it's not also forget, Alt has been a left tackle, okay? I'm not sure – if they can just go over there to the right, that's all you got to do. But I'm saying, but if Brasillo thinks that maybe Neal should slide in, if we don't take a tackle in the 1st round, there's going to be some good tackles in the 2nd round. Adequate. You don't need 5 first-round, offensive linemen. You don't. Especially Brasillo proved that. And have a functional offensive line. He proved that last season with the Raiders. What the heck was it? I think they had a 1st-rounder, a 3rd-rounder, a 5th-rounder, and 2 undrafted free agents. I think they had, and they didn't do too bad, right? I mean, I said, just look at the Giants. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there. It's not going to happen. I highly doubt it. But if they were to re-sign Pugh wants to come back. Right? If Shane sits him down and say, hey, Justin, right, we'll take you back. We're not giving you a lot. If you want to play back for the Giants, we love you. If you want, right? Right? So, I mean, if you look at it like that, just say, and somebody gets dinged up or whatever, and say Justin Pugh, they put him back in the guard, and say Evan Neal's our right tackle, right? I mean, do you realize, we would have 3 first-round picks and a 2nd-round pick, and then say the other guard is a Zudu, right? Just throwing that out there. We'd have Andrew Thomas, 1st-rounder, Justin Pugh, 1st-rounder at guard, John Michael Schmitz, 2nd-rounder, Joshua Zudu, 3rd-rounder, Evan Neal, 1st-rounder. I mean, so it's not like we haven't drafted high to fill in the offensive line. It's just things haven't worked out. Hopefully, with the new offensive line coach, hopefully things will change around a little bit. But once again, the Giants need, they need to figure out. I mean, this is huge. They need to figure out what they're doing with Neal. And I'm sure Brasillo is just watching hours and hours of film or whatever on Neal. See what, and a lot of it's got to do, I'm sure, what he thinks. What do you think? What are you thinking about Neal? Right? Do we move him in? Do you think there's is a prayer, yeah. But also some of it has to do with, not even so much what Neal can do, right? It's can Neal stay healthy? Because you can put, oh, no, I think he can stay at right tackle. Or no, maybe we should move him in at guard. Or, that could be, but I'm saying, but if he's had 2 injury-plagued seasons. Yeah. How many seasons you going to wait? This is a big season for him. Because if he gets injured once again, I'm not saying we're cutting him or nothing like that, but it's like, you got to do something because it's like, we're not sure if he can play right tackle. We have no idea if he can ever stay healthy. You have to do something. So it's going to be interesting to see, what happens to Neal. Can he stay healthy, but also what the Giants decide to do with him. But that may not be a bad idea. Slide him in the guard and draft in a tackle. Even in the second round, right? The Giants could literally, address their offensive line in like 1 or 2 moves. If they could slide Neal in, I'm sure he might be a better guard than a tackle. Okay, we got Michael Schmitz, we got Andrew Thomas. We draft a tackle in the first round or second round or whatever. So, right, and you slide Neal in, and then there's a boatload. There's quite a but it's a decent amount of guards out there, free agent guards that won't cost you a lot of money that I'm sure Coach Basillo can do pretty good things with. So the Giants aren't far from quite possibly, fixing their offensive line. And as I said, it does help if you get a good offensive line coach in too. And Johnson, okay. See ya. Thanks for shopping at Kmart, Johnson. Edge. This is another one. Oh my God, Edge. This one could be huge too. There ain't nobody unless the Giants. And that's the problem. See, when they're picking it at 6, I don't. If somebody's going to jump up, unless somebody falls in love with the Dunze or something like that, I don't know. I can't see somebody jumping up to 6 and trading away their first rounder and another first or second or something to jump up and have the Giants slide back, right, in the first round. But it's just the stuff I'm hearing is that at pick 6 there's no defensive player, there's no edge rusher, worthy, right? Unless somebody goes off the charts at the combine, then their draft stock shoots up the table, and then all of a sudden they're McGee, this guy was supposed to be picked in the teens, but he ran a 4.42 or whatever. He's a top 10 pick now, baby. So that happens all the time. But as of right now, at pick 6, there's no edge rusher for the Giants to take. So possibly in the second round. Let's just call it what it is. Unfortunately, with the depth that the Giants have, we got Boogie Basham. I don't know if Jihad Ward's coming back. Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari. We got Toman Fox. And the problem is with Azeez is, he was not particularly good last year, right? And he's injured a lot, right? So we need somebody else opposite Kayvon. Now this might be, I said, this is huge. This is somebody, you take notes and say maybe in the second round, unless possibly maybe, the Giants, they have to maybe try to bring babies back Saquon, maybe Xavier McKinney. I don't know if they're going to do it with Isaiah Simmons. They got a bunch of guys they got to try to bring back. Can they make a nice little splash? Because the salary cap went up to 255. It was supposed to be like 245, 248 or so. It went up like another $7 to $10 million above over expected. right? And you get rid of maybe Mark Lewinsky. You adjust some of the salaries, right? Not adjust, but you give maybe Andrew Thomas another signing bonus, Sexy Dexy. We work out their contracts a little bit, save some more money. Can the Giants go out maybe in free agency, making a nice little splash, bring in a stud edge rusher? That would be nice. I'd like to see, and I'd also, if they did that, have Kayvon, they'd have somebody, right, across from Kayvon, Sexy Dexy, and if they could draft somebody else, to get next to, Kayvon, the other edge rusher, Sexy Dexy, and somebody be next to Sexy. That would be good, because we had Leonard Williams, but he's gone, right? But but this edge rusher, we're I said we got Kayvon, and that's what you want to do, which would be ideal, would be like to have the other team, right, have them to pick their poison. Do you want to like slide the line toward Kayvon, or do you want to have them slide the line this way, or you just want to take everybody on one-on-one and God bless, maybe hopefully nobody disrupts our plays, so. But we got weak an edge rusher, weak. It was kind of amazing that we were able to get much pressure at all on anybody last year. But it's like it's just there's like nobody there. It's just nobody. It says along with edge is another spot where testing and potential drills can show translatable skills. The 10-yard split shows explosiveness, and the 3-cone drill helps show the ability to change direction without losing speed or balance. Position drills for edge rushers show their bend and how elegant they move laterally. There's value for edge rushers at the combine to show their athletic testing and translatable skills, and their film study will prove crucial to see if they can explain why they tried certain block deconstruction moves when they did. The top few edge rushers are still kind of muddled together. It will be interesting to see if any can separate with a wow performance. Yeah, absolutely. Then, of course, in the cornerback, who we putting across from Deonte Banks, because I don't think we're bringing Adoree Jackson back. So who's going to be on the opposite side? You look at, once again, you look here, okay, at the cornerback position. We got Cordell Flott, you got Deonte Banks. McLeod is a restricted free agent. We got Aaron Robinson, who can't forever make it to he did have a very bad knee injury, okay? But besides that, even after we drafted him, he's had to have muscle core surgery. He's had injury after injury after injury. And I don't even know if he can even make it back after this, how good he's going to be after this latest, his problem with his knee. But, cornerback, we got Adoree Jackson. We got Trey Hawkins III, right? Banks, McLeod's a restricted free agent. Cordell Flott and Aaron Robinson. We need people at the cornerback position, without question. Testing doesn't mean too much for defensive backs in general, in my opinion. This is from who is this here? This is from Big Blue? Giants Country, Fan Nation. Brandon Olson did this. There are very few instances where cornerbacks get to run straight ahead for any distance. Really, position drills, however, are very helpful. Combine does a good job of showing how defensive backs work, how they get used to in games, and show their hip fluidity. Yes, yeah. Change of direction ability and reaction skills. Testing is fun, but position drills show translatable skills that can help the Giants. The interview portion also helps to explain what is going through the players' minds during positive or negative plays and their scheme knowledge. Unfortunately, Iowa's Cooper Dijon, I think it is, won't be participating since he would have undoubtedly been one of the most athletic testers at the combine. However, players like Notre Dame's Cam Hart and Terrion Arnold from Alabama should still raise some eyebrows. So once again, this is something like this. I mean, that's not something the Giants are taking in the first round. I mean, that's not happening. But second round, third round, cornerbacks in play without question. You need somebody. It doesn't mean Trey Hawkins is going to be a bust or anything like that. But he just might have to be a special teams contributor and some depth. Right, you got to have depth, right? And I said the Giants drafted him for a reason. Hopefully, they can maybe do some developing of him as he goes forward. Somebody keep on the team, and especially his contract is cheap. And even after 4 seasons, if you got to re-sign him again, he'll be cheap, right? But you got to have those backup guys. You got to have the special teamers. You got to have depth. But I mean, without question, a second round pick in play for a cornerback. Oh yeah, second round pick in play for a edge rusher. Yep, absolutely. An offensive lineman. Yep, absolutely. A wide receiver. Yep, absolutely. Unfortunately, the Giants have too many holes. It's to be tough with all their draft picks to fill all the holes and to get some good quality depth. That's not happening. The thing is, what they need to do is, between this season and next season, right? I mean, you figure we need a wide receiver, we need a cornerback, we need an edge rusher, we need at least another offensive lineman, right? Just to name the few, right? Well, I'm saying between this season and next season, we have 2 firsts and we have 3 seconds. That's 5 picks. You figure between a first round pick and a second round pick, if you do, it's tough to hit a home run on all of them. I get that. But if you do a good job of scouting, if the guys aren't home runs, not home run, but, they should be good, decent contributors. I mean, in the next 2 drafts, between your 5 second, between the first round, second round picks, you got 5 of them. The next 2 drafts, you can find another edge rusher to go across from Kayvon. You might be able to find yourself that dog of a wide receiver, right? Okay, then you have Hyatt. You got Robinson. Maybe you bring Slayton back, whatever. Then you have your dog of a wide receiver. Okay. I said between the first and second round pick, you can grab yourself a cornerback. You got Deonte Banks, right? And you have your other cornerback, right? I said you get your edge rusher, right? In one of those, right? So I said it's not something. We're not going to the Super Bowl this season, right? But hopefully between this season and next season, especially in the draft, you can have some of those holes filled. And I said, if you want, I'm saying, said you get maybe draft an offensive lineman, you draft a wide receiver, you can draft a cornerback, you can draft an edge rusher, and you can draft maybe a tackle. Like remember we did with Dalvin Tomlinson, something like a second round pick. Dalvin next to Sexy. You got your 2 edge rushers, then you're set there at your front 4, right? That wouldn't be bad. All right, then we got New York. Who we got here? The Giants' offensive building blocks ranked among the NFL's worst. I'll tell you what, somebody's. It's really funny. Some places, what do we say? Some reports have the Giants just absolute trash, and some of them, have them on the up and up, and it's just amazing. It depends upon who you're talking to. But here. Now, who is this here? Bleacher Report has the Giants, their offensive building blocks ranked number 22nd. And to be fair, it's kind of. I mean, we don't have we need a great wide receiver, a number 1, which we don't have. We're still kind of up in the air about Daniel Jones. We don't have a real unbelievable tight end. We got Waller, but he's injured. He's going to be injured this season. You can chalk that up, right? And so Daniel Bellinger is a nice tight end, but he's not a Skittle or a Kelsey or one of the upper echelon guys. We got Saquon, but we don't have. It's a good. It's fair. 22. That's pretty fair. That's a fair grade, I'd say. Says who is this? Is it? What is this? This is Giants Wire. Okay. Let's see here. Giants roster has improved from where it was 2 years ago when general manager Joe Shane took over. In his first offensive season as GM, the Giants were in salary cap hell and extremely limited on the moves they can make. Things cleared up a bit last year, but there still wasn't a massive spending spree. Although some positions have seen a boost, the Giants remain needy, especially on the offensive side of the ball. There's something that Brad Gagnon, I'm going to say, a Bleacher Report recognized this week as he ranked every NFL team's offensive building blocks. The Giants checked in near the bottom under the jury's very much out category. The Giants are ranked number 22nd. The Giants are loaded with young offensive players who have failed to show significant signs of becoming major contributors. The list, it starts with practically the entire offensive line beyond Andrew Thomas. He talks about Michael Schmitz and Evan Neal, and it spans into pass-catching corps with Wan'Dale Robinson, Hyatt, and Bellinger. And he's like, nah, nothing super spectacular there. Certainly, elite tackle Andrew Thomas gives the Giants one of the league's top building blocks. After that, seemingly a bunch of unproven young players. Well, Wan'Dale Robinson, he's coming back from an injury. But toward the end of the season, he was showing how he can be a little – I'm not saying he's going to be unbelievable, whatever, but, he's showing that he can be special, right? He needs to continue trending in the right direction and, most importantly, stay on the field. He needs to stay healthy. Yes, that's a big thing for him. As far as John Michael Schmitz and Evan Neal, the Giants hope that they can have long-term solutions on the offensive line. However, Neal is looking like a bust, and Schmitz was a mixed bag during his rookie season. Yeah. Schmitz needs to, continue trending in the right direction. I mean, there were times where he was like overmatched, without question. But you can see he seems like he's grasping, not grasping at straws, but he's holding on. He seems to do a good job. As far as grasping, like maybe he's the center, he's the guy, in charge. He's smart, intelligent. He's going to give it his all. He seems like he's a real good guy, locker guy, good guy to have on the offensive line and all. He's a good athlete and all, but he does need to get a little bit stronger. He does seem like, because there's times when he's going up against a guy who's 30, 40, maybe even 50 pounds heavier than he is, and he's getting bullied. But if he starts working on the strength and all and everything like that, I think he can. I'm not saying he's going to be a phenomenal all-pro center or nothing like that. But I think, I think without question, we have our center for the future, right? And some of it is coaching. Okay? So, I don't know what Bobby Johnson was teaching some of these guys. At the end of the season, we still couldn't pick up a stunt or a twist or anything like that, right? So let's I like to see what Basilio can do, right? Because obviously, I'm not talking 95% of it is coaching, but coaching has got quite a bit to do with it, right? A little technique here, a little technique there, right? So be interesting to see what Basilio can do. I'm very excited about that. When you got a coach coming, especially the offensive line coach, you got somebody coming from another team, okay, and it might have really worked out well for the Giants, right? Coming from another team where their offensive line coach had, as I said, I think it was like a first rounder, a third rounder, a fifth, and 2 undrafted free agents. He's coming over, right? He got those guys being very functionable. Well, they weren't a top 5 offensive line unit, right? But they weren't supposed to be. But got them being very functional. Now he's coming over here. Let's see what he can do here. As I said, right? We got Neal's a first rounder, Schmidt's a second rounder, Andrew Thomas is a first rounder, Zudu's a third rounder. We can easily pick up somebody else maybe in the first round. We might take a tackle. We said in the second round we might take somebody. So we're going to have some good talent that we drafted. What can we do with them, though? That's the question. Let's see here. Shane has plenty of work to do to improve the roster, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Given the status of the offense, it would be no surprise if they spent the first few picks in the draft on offensive players and focused heavily on the offensive line and free agency. Yep, absolutely. But I think where he's the Giants' offensive building blocks ranked them, in the lower half, and number this guy has him 22 out of 32. I think that's very, very fair. Very, very fair. So we got Saquon, but he's he's not like walking around with a cane or nothing. But this is going to be a 7th season. It's hard to believe how fast time, right? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. This is going to be a 7th season, Saquon. Yeah, he's still got it. He's still got some juice, but he's slowing down at all. But we don't have a phenomenal tight end. Right? We got Waller, but he's an injury. He's a hamstring waiting to happen. He's a hamstring waiting to pop. Right? We got some nice wide receivers. Right? Our offensive line is kind of, and we still have no idea what's going on with Daniel Jones. Right? So he ranked as 22nd overall. I think that's very fair. It is what it is. But as I said, hopefully in either free agency, I said maybe we can bring Saquon back. But in the draft, if maybe in the first round, first and second round, we draft a couple offensive players. Yeah, that'll really help the Giants' offensive weapons without question. And then we got, who is this here? And then once again, this is from USA Today believes the Giants can surprise a few people in 2024. The Giants are named as one of the top 10 teams primed to make a major jump in 2024. Now, it's really funny because I read an article. It was, or I did it on my video a couple of days ago, whatever it was, but it was about an article. Okay, it was that the Giants were one of the teams that was primed to basically have a major fall. There was 6-11, and I forgot who it was said that the Giants were primed to somehow go from 6-11 and get even worse. They were supposed to, I guess, go 1-16 this season. I'm not sure what, But then you read this article here, which is the Giants are one of 10 teams primed to make a major jump in 2024. It's really, it is what it is. Giants need to be better in 2024 than they were in 2023. Yeah. Okay. That's yeah. No kidding, really. And while there are probably some who question how much of a leap the team can take in one offseason, USA's Today, Nate Davis believes Big Blue will be among 10 NFL teams that will take a significant jump in the year ahead. Now, he has the 10 teams he has taking a significant jump. Well, he's got the Packers. They were pretty good last year. I don't know how much of a jump they're going to take. And then these guys has the Eagles. We're going to take a jump. They were 10-1 at one point. What are supposed to go 17-0? I don't see the Eagles taking a jump, but he has the Giants maybe taking a nice jump. The Titans, the Patriots, the Texans, the Lions. Interesting. As good as they were, he expects them maybe to take the Lions to take a jump. The Cardinals, the Commanders, and the Bears. But he has the Giants here. Let's see there. A team looking to get to the top of the NFC East may have to do so without free agent Saquon Barkley, Davis wrote. The Giants, who need to get Daniel Jones right in 2024, currently have roughly $19 million to spend in free agency. Well, that's not true, because this article must have came out before the salary cap explosion, right? On the surface, that doesn't sound like a lot of resources for the Giants to shore up a roster that has several depth issues. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Which was exposed last year amid their injury-filled season. But in looking at last season, the Giants entered 2023 intent on running into it back on its success it had achieved in 2022 with a 9-7-1 record that got them to the playoffs. As part of the effort to build up the roster, General Manager Joe Schoen handed out multiple long-term extensions to players such as interior defensive lineman Dexter Lawrence and Andrew Thomas and Daniel Jones. They also added inside linebacker Bobby Okereke in free agency, one of Shane's best free agent signings to date. And they traded one of the draft picks they acquired when they traded they got Kadarius Toney. They traded that to to the Raiders to get Darren Waller. So but the problem is that Waller just can't stay healthy. The 2023 draft class also looked promising as they led by Deonte Banks. He had a good season, solid season. In the end, the Giants have fell into a 2-8 hole that saw them getting blown out by 2 or more scores, and most of those first 8 losses weren't good enough to compete, even with injuries. That's why this offseason is critical for Shane and Daboll and the rest of the Giants staff as they look to assemble a team that could very well have some new faces on the offensive line, outside linebacker, outside linebacker, and defensive secondary. The Giants are expected to make moves to create more cap space on top of what they already have. It's anticipated the Giants will target the offensive line, cornerback, quarterback, and edge rusher in free agency. Regarding the draft, the Giants currently have 7 picks, 4 of them being within the first 70 selections. Now, that is huge. And then I think they got 5 in the top 107. So that's really good. These picks are important in terms of adding top talent and could be used as bargaining chips to move around the board. Yes, they could. Shane's roster rebuild plan will start to take shape over the next few weeks, making an exciting time for the Giants fans disappointed by last season's results. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, as I said, you got to figure, right? You got the Underwear Olympics coming up this week, right? And then, in a little over a week away. So if that, you got the free, they can start doing some talking, with the free agents. Right, and I think it was March 13th. I think that's when they can. I think that's it's either the 13th or the 15th. This is the beginning of the new year, the new league year. That's when they can sign the guys on the dotted line. So we got next couple of weeks, man. We got a lot of stuff going on. Right. And then finally, the 4 ways that the Giants have failed Daniel Jones. Now, it's one thing. Is without question. It's one of those things. It's kind of like, with Daniel Jones, it's like this is going to be like his 6th season, and we're it's like still kind of, is this guy good? Do you think we can make a run with this guy? I don't know. He's like a cat. He has like 75 lives. Usually you get like a couple seasons, and either you're in or you're out. After 2 seasons, it's like they're looking at quarterbacks and like, this guy sucks. Get him out of here. Daniel Jones, for some reason, he's just like hanging in there, right? And they signed him to a nice deal. The thing is that though, if you look at it, you think about it, right? He was signed to his deal of $160 million and all, but they have the out after 2 seasons. So that kind of shows you that there's a possibility that Shane Daboll aren't 100% sold on the guy. But in this article here, okay, there, it's you can see where they did let him down, right? I don't think he's the guy. If everything is perfect, right? If he's got protection, he's got some. We still don't know if he has some good weapons because we've never given him a full arsenal of good weapons, right? But if he's got some good protection and maybe a healthy Saquon and we give him a number 1 wide receiver, I think maybe we could do some stuff. But the problem is that this is life. This is the NFL. Things ain't perfect. It's like what Thomas McGahee says. They give me the play. Our former special teams coach. They give me the players, and I got to make gumbo with it, right? I got to, they give me this player and this player and this player and this, and I got to stir the pot. I got to make it work with those guys, right? So it's like, Daniel Jones is on the field. If he doesn't have the number 1 wide receiver, or he doesn't have this, or this guy's hurt, or this guy's this, blah, 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 blah. You got to make it work, right? And more often than not, he has not made it work, right? It's not, things ain't always going to be sunshine and roses, as Sylvester Stallone said. I think it was the one that said that. It says here 4 reasons why Giants have failed Daniel Jones. The first one they say is the play calling. Jones has gone through 3 different head coaches, which is 3 different offensive coordinators in his career. Over the last 2 years, especially under Mike Kafka, the Giants' offense has been unable to move the ball at all, and that's very difficult. You know, I mean, you go on different offensive play callers, offensive coordinators, head coaches, 3 head coaches, 2 different general managers. You know, it's very different, very difficult. This past season was no different, which is exactly why in 2023 the play calling is part to blame for the rough year. 2023, the Giants' passing attack was ranked 31st in the NFL, only averaging just under 170 passing yards a game, which is unbelievably horrible. As for the offense altogether, the G-men were ranked 29th, only averaging 280 total yards in a game, which is once again absolutely freaking pathetic. Giants could not move the ball well enough with Kafka calling plays, and that was on full display this past season with the Giants not scoring an offensive touchdown in 4 of their 6 games that Jones started. Oh, my God, that was horrible. Kafka will be back next season, but goodness, he needs to put Jones and the offense as a whole in a better position to succeed. All right, the next thing that they said, the injuries. I mean, I mean, some of this here is the way they have failed Daniel Jones. Well, injuries. Well, some of that is, it's not so much on the Giants. Some of it's just like maybe bad luck, but injuries always derail a team. But it was a massive problem for the Giants in 2023. Too many star players missed extensive time for the Giants, and when Jones was at the helm playing quarterback, the struggles were on full display. Starting with running back Saquon Barkley, he suffered an ankle injury in week 2 over the Cardinals. The former number 2 overall pick missed 3 games that Jones started, and he struggled without his buddy who stands next to him. Jones' stats in those 3 games Barkley missed were not pretty, as he only passed for 459 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 interceptions in those 3 games. So basically, he averaged 150 yards a game passing in those 3 games. As a matter of fact, Jones' record without Barkley is 8-14 with 16 touchdowns and 20 interceptions in his career. So shows you how important Barkley is, right? Barkley wasn't the only injury that was a problem for Jones. His starter offensive tackle, Andrew Thomas, also missed some time. He was limited to 10 games this past season with his issues starting in the week 1 loss to the Cowboys. Plus, newly acquired tight end Darren Waller, who the Giants had high hopes for, had to deal with the hamstring issues once again. And he will this year, too. I'm almost positive of that. Everything that could have gone wrong for the offense did. And that's so true. That's very true. All right, next. They don't have the dog. They don't. Who let the dogs out? Well, not the Giants, because they don't have the number 1 wide receiver. And, Daniel Jones has been relatively, trying to work, right, with a, mediocre, very middle of the road, whatever, offensive line group. There's nobody, there's no Odell Beckham Jr. out there, obviously. There's not been many Odell Beckham Jr.'s out there, but, a lot of teams, a lot of the good teams have somebody that they can go to. I mean, I said, you look at the 49ers, right? I mean, McCaffrey, they had the Skittle Man, Ayuk, Deebo Samuels, right? Although those guys, hardly had anything at all in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs really shut them down. But this has been an issue for the Giants probably since the 2019 season when the Giants decided to say goodbye to Odell Beckham Jr. Big Blue just doesn't have a solid number 1 wideout that Jones can rely on. And once again in 2023, that was on full display. Yep. Giants' leading receiver in 2023, once again, was Darius Slayton, who only posted 50 receptions for 770 yards and 4 touchdowns. The next closest to Slayton was Waller, who had 552 yards, and the next closest was wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson with just 525. Giants only had 2 100-yard games by receivers in 2023, with rookie Jalen Hyatt at 109, against the Patriots, and Slayton had 104 against the Rams in Week 17. That is the latter half of the regular season, which is unacceptable. And obviously, when they did have those 100-plus receptions, Daniel Jones wasn't around, so he wasn't even in the game then. Right? Those were also the games that Jones did not even start. Oh, okay. Due to season-ending injury. So he never had a 100-yard game received by a receiver. This has got to be addressed in the offseason as the Giants have to find Jones a star wideout, potentially Malik Neighbors or Rome Dunzier. Yep. So, absolutely. All right. And finally, the awful play of the offensive line. Yep. Now, I mean, once again, to be fair, I mean, if you looked at the offensive line play that the Giants had last season, okay, just to be fair, take almost any NFL quarterback, plop them back there, and well, I don't know what they were going to do. Could Patrick Mahomes have done better than Daniel Jones? Oh, sure. Yeah. Right. Would Patrick Mahomes have taken this Giant team to the Super Bowl? No. Nope. Nope. Not at all. Right. So, it's the poor offensive line play, but it was all how many injuries did we have as well, too. And as I said, to be fair, the Giants, it's not like they haven't addressed it. It's not like they drafted Andrew Thomas, the first round pick, right? And after that, it's like, oh yeah, we'll take somebody in the 7th round. And then the next year, we'll take an offensive lineman. Probably made 6th round. And then the next year, we'll get an undrafted free agent and we'll just throw somebody in there. No. Evan Neal's 1st rounder, Michael Schmidt's 2nd rounder, Zudu's a 3rd rounder, and Thomas they've been addressing it. They've been addressing it. 2 tackles, a guard, and a center. They've been addressing it. Right? It just haven't been working. Now, but I did also say is that some of it has to do with coaching. And Bobby Johnson, you suck. I'm so happy you're out of here. So happy you're out of here. Let's see. Don't be surprised. The offensive line once again was a disaster for the Giants last past season. Has been the case for far too long. Despite Jones' limited and consistent play in 2023, there's no doubt the Giants' offensive line let Jones down for the most part in 2023. I mean, that's the reason why he got hurt twice, right? I mean, the neck injury. My God, he got pummeled, and then when he tore his ACL. I mean, right. That he wasn't running, putting a juke 30, 40 yards on down. What makes you now? I mean, that's from the offensive line. I mean, it's horrible. Absolutely, just horrible. The downfall started back in Giants' primetime Week 1 matchup against the Cowboys, where the Giants gave up 7 sacks of Jones, and it only got worse from there a few weeks later. In Week 4, the Seattle Seahawks showed no mercy against the Giants in their O-line as they sacked Jones 9 times. If you think that's the blame on Jones, you're quite mistaken. In the games that Jones started, he was sacked a total of 30 times, which is just an absurd stat line. Plus, the Giants in total gave up a league-high 85 sacks in 2023, which is 20 more than the next closest team. Something has to give for the Giants' offensive line next season. New bodies simply must be brought in for the offensive line coach, Carmen Brasillo. But I am very, very excited about Carmen Brasillo. I definitely think that without question, our offensive line play is going to get better. Without question. I mean, it's not all coaching, but coaching has quite a bit to do with it. I'm very excited about that pickup. So, all right, guys, it's been 1 hour, 3 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Nobody important. Thanks for your comment. Appreciate it, man. And you're right. They really got a lot to figure out next season. Oh, yeah, you got that right. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. And as always, you guys stay safe out there. Go Giants! Woo! Oh, yeah.